Yeah, Mr. Talk Reviews. We're back with another chapter of Undead Unluck. Now, if you love Undead Unluck, drop a like. And if you love Undead Unluck, say something in the comments. Now, let's get into this review. What is up, everybody? We're back with another chapter review of Undead Unluck. So yeah, it's going to be a double chapter review this week. Last week, I don't remember. The weekend was just gone for me. I don't even know why I didn't take it off. I think I was just hella tired for some reason. But let's not keep y'all waiting. We'll go straight into the chapter review with chapter 227. I'm for either or. This chapter starts off with Julia thanking Apocalypse for the memories of Juiz and Victor in the past. And we don't actually get to go into the memories. We don't get like a flashback little side story for a little bit. I thought we would. All we get really is at the start of this chapter, a collage of different images of Juiz and Victor's past. And it's kind of a tease from Yoshifumi. Like, I want to know the backstory properly. Why don't we have a little backstory arc? Slow down the pacing of the story a little bit. Because one thing I do realize from these past two chapters, the pacing feels a little bit fast for me. We just got into the change fight. I thought that fight would probably last a few chapters. It looks like it's going to last a bit longer, don't get me wrong. But I didn't think we'd be jumping around between the fights like this. It could be done in a cool way. But once we even get into chapter 228, it feels like these fights are going kind of fast. Basically, what I'm trying to say is I want to enjoy the story for longer. Please don't end too soon, Undead Unluck. Julie gets the memories and she's about to leave with Top. But then they're stopped by a new enemy approaching. So the enemy that landed in front of Julia is speaking and they're saying that they really don't understand the Union members, basically. He doesn't know why they keep on taking on opponents that are clearly stronger than them. Why do they keep fighting with enemies where they have a huge disadvantage? And how they can do all this still having hope, actual hope in their eyes, believing they can actually overcome this insurmountable object. And of course, the person who's speaking is So. His big plan is to take out injustice, and hopefully that light, that hope that everyone has will die out. Because injustice is a huge factor. And honestly, with how shaken up the rules are about injustice manifesting, I really understand why Juiz never passed on the torch to anyone else to take on this battle and board the arc. She probably realized without her injustice, no way in hell are they going to make any kind of progress. She kind of had to be, she was the only person for that time until Fuko. But we go to Change and she doesn't really seem as worried about Julia manifesting injustice. Her rule is change. She's really proud of her rule change. So whatever injustice that Julia manifests won't be the same as Juiz's injustice. But I'm not sure if she doesn't know that's the whole reason that Julia took the memories from Apocalypse. Maybe she doesn't realize Julia's with Apocalypse right now and the plan they're trying to do to manifest the exact same injustice. Or she just really believes in her rule that much that even if she does gain all those memories, she will still be changed enough to not manifest the same injustice. But she's continuing her fight with Gina, and she is rocking the shit out of Gina. She clocks her right on the jaw. But all our Union women are tough. Anyone else, that would have floored them. But Gina and Fuko, yeah, they're made different. So Gina's talking a big game to Change. She's telling her that she knows the prospect of things not changing really terrifies Change. Which, of course, would. It's literally the antithesis of her. But Change slices off Gina's arm. And she says, bring me whatever it is. I can definitely change it. So Change also lets us know how she's able to land this attack on Gina. Because you might think Gina has this pretty insane defense with her unchanged air. How are you able to land a strike attack on her like that? They were even just clashing before and in the previous panel. But since Gina is an external targeter, she can't actually put any unchanged on her. So once you get around the unchanged air, she's a glass cannon essentially. But Change is way too cocky, and while she's taunting Gina, Gina actually boomerang sent her hat out, kind of like a Frieza Destructo disc that comes back. I don't think he calls it a destructo disc, but Frieza has a like, it's like a purple or pinkish even like disc move he does, and then he throws it and then it comes back. Yeah, Gina does that with her hat and slices straight through Change. And in Change's inner monologue, she lets us know that Gina sacrificed her arm in order to pull this move off. So, like I was saying before, our union women are badass, man. They are tough. She's not gonna get that arm back. Maybe Nika can do a robot prosthetic or something. But yeah, our union women are hardcore. But this is just a start because Change goes into her phase 3 form. So this is the Master Rules phase 3. Gina is unfazed by this. She's unchanged by Change's phase 3. She's even calm enough to just casually put on her jacket. Even with one arm, you can see she has one arm and her jacket's just kind of flapping in the wind. And they both go charging in at each other. Actually, Gina's charging in, but Change is doing some mid-range tentacle DNA hair thing attack. So Gina runs in and is charging up an unchanged soul punch. She's wrapping her fist with soul energy. Change is trying to block it with her hand, but Gina's fist just evaporates Change's hand. And Gina's able to land a solid punch straight to the face of Change. However, this doesn't knock her back or anything. It just kind of looks like it made Change even more pissed off. But that is the end of the chapter. And that attack that Gina just did, I just want to talk about it real quick before we go into the next chapter. I think what she's doing here is something I spoke about before. If a external targeting type negator can become somewhat of a self-targeting type negator, Nico kind of already established his self-targeting type negation ability of Unforgettable. He's experimenting with making it a external targeting type, but now we're doing it the other way as well. And I think Gina's kind of pseudo done this. So she wraps her fist with the soul energy, and similar to how Fuko infuses Unluck into her soul, Gina fused Unchange into her soul. So, and to be honest, this technique I'd probably compare to Bartolomeo from One Piece's barrier pistol, where he just makes a barrier over his fist and smacks someone with it. They're essentially just putting on really powerful brass knuckles on their fists. A simple but effective strategy, nevertheless. Now we go into the next chapter, chapter 228, entitled Strength is About. What is strength about? What do you think strength is about? I don't know what I think strength is about. Strength is about, I don't know. In the emotional sense, what is strength about? Resolve, character? It's a quite difficult question, quite a poignant title, chapter title. Why am I going into the chapter title so deep? I don't know. But think about that. What is strength to you? But anyway, this chapter starts off the fight against Gina and Unchange. Unchange is annoyed at Gina's last remark at the end of the last chapter about people's souls and their resolve not changing even if they die. So Change barks up about how the master rules are rules instilled by God in this world, and none of these negators will ever be able to negate them. And we're going to get more in depth with the master rules later on in this chapter, as something I actually want to compare to a previous chapter, chapter 195, but I'll get into it when we get there in the chapter. So now we turn away to another fight, and this is what I'm saying. I thought we would stay with the Change fight a bit longer. That's why I thought it would be alright to do a double chapter review. It'll probably still be the same fight, so I'm kind of annoyed I didn't do a chapter review last week because this is its own kind of chapter. We do get back to Change and Gina, but yeah, big thing happens in this fight with this chapter. It's kind of its own standalone fight. So we're here with Mui and Shen fighting against Time. And he's prattling on about how growing old is a wonderful thing. We all have an old person in our life, a family member, a friend, a work colleague who's trying to come to terms with being old himself, so they start saying things like this. But the way he's saying being old is a wonderful thing takes a morbid twist, because he's saying it's wonderful because when people become old, they become ineffectual, and without claiming any lives, they give the seats over to a new generation. So we find out that Shen and Mui are actually getting older throughout the duration of this fight. And apparently they've already grown 30 years older. This is a devastating ability. How long have they been there? Maybe only a couple minutes at most, and they're already 30 years older. So Shen's probably about 50. I'm assuming he's about 20. And to be honest, Shen at 50 probably would be really, really strong still, enough to hustle with the master rule a little bit. And he does have Mui there with him. We even see a cool panel where the Time Master rule. He is kind of suave with it. I can't lie. He's kind of cold with it. Got the top hat on, in the suit. He looks kind of dapper, and he's handling these young bucks. I know I was hating on old people, but I do like an old, cool looking old man in a anime or manga. But anyway, I'm saying he's able to double block both Mui and Shen's attack. Shen tells Time that his rule is super boring, and it kind of is. He says there should be better rules like never going hungry or looking forward to wearing pretty clothes. Which never going hungry would be a pretty sick rule. You just gotta defeat eat, I guess. But unless he's a master rule, unless hunger is a master rule. And to be honest, I think in this double attack hit that Shen and Mui are doing to Time, he actually shows one of his fingers look to be dislocated or something, showing a feat of Shen. Even whilst he's 30 years younger, he's still able to land a form-changing attack to a master rule. It's similar to in Overlord, where Brain Angus is able to land a nail clipper attack on Shoutier. It may look like a small bit of growth, but that is an insane, incredible feat. So Shen and Mui go to try and end it by landing this sick, insane combo attack. We get a little panel for each strike. Shen throws a left-hand straight strike to Time. Then I think Mui comes in from the back with double flying kick into Time. I think they just go on to hit him with a couple two-piece combos, maybe three-piece. In one, Shen's doing a strike like that. I think it hit him in the face while Mui's probably doing an elbow from the back. Then I see Shen doing an elbow to the front, and I think Mui's doing just a straight punch from the back. Mui's going in with a flying kick to the jaw, while Shen is going in with another elbow, I think. Then they do some kind of cool move where, you attack the person, but you still go running through them. Looks like Mui does a like double fist punch kind of thing, and Shen does a straight jumping punch through him. Jurokai Zanko 16 cycle mountain strike. That was an insane, badass sequence of events. Like if you look at each panel individually and realize the combo, he's getting pieced up right now. The flying knee from Mui is insane. Go back and look at that panel. She's a flying knee straight to the jaw. Insane fight choreography from a manga. You know what I mean? Like compared to a manga like JJK, sometimes you have no idea what's going on in that fight. But Yoshifumi laid it out beautifully, panel by panel, what this pieced up combo was looking like. And you know what? I think that Jurokai Zanko 16 cycle mountain strike was that full panel technique. He showed every action from that technique, because if you count it, it's 8 panels. So that's one strike for each of them, adding up to 16, which I think is where the naming comes from. It would be interesting if that is the reason. Let me check. It was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 panels. Well, the last panel is them rushing towards him for the final strike, which I think comes on the next page. But yeah, I think that's correct. Unless that's a real kind of combo pieced up technique in some martial arts I don't know about. So they've floored Time with this technique, and Shen is looking old right now. He's so skinny right now. He's probably added another 20 years. Probably he's about 70 now. But just like with Change in the last chapter, Time goes into his phase 3, and Time is a pretty cool character. I like his character design right now because he's became young now. And that's probably kind of a cliche transformation, but it's always nice to see. It's a thing you can do. Sometimes it goes the other way. It's a young person and they go old. I can't think of an example, but I imagine that exists. So this is where I was talking about at the start of this chapter review. We go into a bit about the master rules. I thought it was Change who gave us this dialogue, but it was Time instead, which makes sense. He gives me librarian vibes. He's the historian of the master rule crew. But before I go into that, like I was saying, I am rocking with Time's design. He's got 4 pocket watches on the side, linked together with another chain. He's got a hourglass as a necklace, and I'm thinking not to his size proportions, but an hourglass necklace probably would look kind of fire. He's also got a massive hourglass looking thing on his back that kind of looks like it could be used as a hammer sort of contraption, but I doubt it'll be using it as a hammer. And he's got 2 huge side, it looks like pocket watches, but I imagine they're probably weapons. And I imagine the hourglass on his back. I don't think it's on his back. He's just holding it, and he's got amazing wrist strength to keep it up like that. And he's got long flowing hair now as well. No beard. It's a clean shaven, suave looking young gentleman now. So he's saying it seems God chose a set of fine rules. And to be honest, I'm wondering why he said that. Is it because Shen's so strong, or because he's so strong and he's able to deal with this strong opponent? I'm not really reading Time's motivations right now. And he seems a bit different to the other rules. Because he's old, he has that air of authority to him, but he doesn't seem to be like he was the first rule. So he starts off saying, in the beginning, there was soul. He goes on to list off the other master rules in the order of how they were added. And this was actually done before in the Beast arc, where Beast did it. And I wanted to compare what they said about why God put certain rules onto the earth. So Time says, in the beginning there was soul. He never moved and God grew bored. What Beast says about soul is, souls were placed on the planet by God, and then God added more rules to torment and observe humans. From Beast, we didn't get the specific fact that God grew bored because soul never did anything. But you can infer it from what Beast said. Soul was placed here, then God added rules to torment you. So he added the rules to torment you because he was bored, because soul never did anything. From there, their stories match up. Then it goes on to death, and this is where it gets different. Beast said God added death to instill panic. However, Time said God added death to ensure individuals would have to entrust things to the next line. And I'll go into what I wonder why these reasonings are different once I've gone through all of them. So going on, Time said change was added to emphasize individuality. Luck was added to create gaps between individual success. Justice birthed free will, and with that came independence. War led to bitter conflicts to protect individuals. Time introduced panic and the hope to grow within that limited amount of time. Beasts were added to let humans think they were special. Language was added to smooth out all the previous changes. And finally, Sick was added basically for population management. And when we compare that to Beast, a lot of them are very different. What Beast said for these rules were change instilled jealousy, luck incited rash behavior, justice incited conflict, war incited mass slaughter, and then Beast was created just to fuck with humans, apparently. So they both have very different reasonings for why these rules were added. And my question is, who told them? And I think that might just be the case. No one actually told them these were the reasons. They've just, through their own lived experience, think this is why these rules were created. And I think that shows the individuality of these Umas and that they do have their own kind of personality. And you can tell with Beast, he was just a really bloodthirsty brute of a person. So all his reasonings are based around torturing humans. With how his mind works, he sees those are the reasons for the rules. And with Time, it seems that his justifications were very individualistic based. It just also shows that these rules are just pawns in this game between God and Luna. We've seen that they do have somewhat of camaraderie with each other. I'm pretty sure Soul was kind of sad when Beast was defeated. And I can't remember completely, but he said something like, we'll see each other again once we win. Going back to the chapter, whilst Time was given these explanations of why the rules were birthed, we do see justice and war go into their phase 3 forms as well. And something I forgot to mention when we had a little catch up of what was happening on the battlefield. In the fight between Justice and Yusai, Justice actually was able to slice into Yusai, but her strategy was that since the sword is within her, he can't draw it out. She says something like, you can't have the sword back now. Going into his phase 3 form, I guess he just conjures up a huge great sword. He's a huge hulking knight now, with a huge sword, like I said, and a huge shield. This is looking like an Elden Ring boss right now. And I could kind of say the same with War, but he's more technologically advanced. I guess this wouldn't be an Elden Ring, but he's got a badass design as well. These are both badass designs. All these designs, the only one I'm kind of shaky about, I didn't even explain it, was Changes. She just has lots of stringy parts to her. Hers were kind of meh. But these ones, Times, Justice, and War's pretty insane. War has a grenade in his chest, kind of looking like his heart, and got looks like veins coming out of it. You know, like in Venom from Spider-Man. The black suit the black suit kind of like spreads across. It's doing that, but not completely. But it looks like veins coming out from this grenade in his chest, looking like it's his heart. And he's got two huge cannons. He's got two huge cannons as his arms. It looks like some more cannons below for feet. He's got a skull face now. I think 1/4 of his face might still be human, or that might just be his hat covering his face there. I think it's just his hat covering his face. He's smoking a cigar. He has this chain looking thing around him. A huge circle is going around the veins of his grenade heart. It's a really metal design. And I want to say Justice's blade now, it looks like it could be a kind of energy blade thing going on, or that just might be how the metal looks. Whilst Time is still talking, another opponent shows up, but he's not against our side. He's for us, and it's none other than Feng. I was wondering what was going to happen with Feng. I think I might have mentioned in the review, Feng wouldn't be happy if they defeated God without him. He definitely wants to fight strong opponents. And when he showed up, I was thinking, this is the perfect opportunity. This is the perfect opponent against Time with his ability now. Since he ages people, Feng is unfade. He won't be able to age him, so Feng will still be able to fight at full strength. And possibly with full stamina all the time. I was theorizing in one of my tier list videos that because Feng is unfade, does he never run out of stamina? And I think that would be possible, but Feng has insane stamina anyway. It might as well be infinite. Shen and Mui try to escape. And actually from this angle, we can see the Nimbus Cloud has bandages on him. So poor Nimbus Cloud is pulling in his weight. While Shen's trying to get away, Time attempts to stop them. But Feng comes in and is talking mad shit to Time. He warns him, you must be out of your mind. You shouldn't be dumb enough to look away when you're facing someone who's stronger than you. So Feng is here with the confidence, and I believe him. He hasn't given me any reason to doubt him. So Shen is thinking like I am. He's telling Mui, it's alright, we'll leave it to Feng. He'll be able to negate that guy's ability with Unfade. But he looks at Mui, and she's still young. And it turns out Feng has given Mui the Unfade ability. So I went back to look in the chapter, and it didn't look like Mui was aging that much. So I don't know if he did it before then, because we don't actually get to see Mui's face that much. When they do their final attack, we only see Shen from the front, and even before that, there was a panel where they're side by side. Mui does look a bit younger, but I attribute that to her being much younger than Shen, and maybe she just holds the age well. She says he just did it, so maybe she did feel like she was getting older, and now she feels her youth back. Oh, I don't know. If she already was aging, and then Shen gave her Unfade, I think she'd stay the same age. She wouldn't get younger, because Unfade just stops you at that certain age. Because I'm thinking maybe it happened when he did die and was resurrected. He did meet those people, his previous users of Unfade, and he did just give it to Mui at that point. Or maybe the more badass option, in my opinion, is that because he died and he gained such a good grasp of what the soul is, he's able to actually just transfer his ability just like that. That would be insane. And I'd expect nothing less from someone like Feng. The way the mechanics of the ability works, like I said, I think she would, if she was already aging, she'd still be like the older person she was when she got the ability, and she wouldn't fade anymore. You could say that they're outside of the range of Time's ability now, so they're de-aging. But we can clearly see that Shen is still old, so they're not outside of the effects of the ability yet. So Mui must have gone into this fight with Unfade, in my opinion. So it could have either happened right before the fight, or like when they just got into the fight, Shen was observing from a little bit far away just to see what was happening. You know, just seeing how his students are doing. I could imagine Feng doing something like that. But I really think he just transferred it when he died fighting against language. Because if someone is just able to transfer the negation ability, I feel like that's too hacked, even though it is Feng. And if it is, if that is what happened, then I don't really mind if we keep it to only Feng is able to do it, maybe Fugo later on. Because maybe when Feng did die, he did converse with those previous users and kind of understood the technique of how the ability did transfer. He was like, yeah, I'm going to give it to this person, but he just observed how it transferred and then replicated that and took it back or something, maybe like that. But we'll have to find out later on, hopefully, because we go to the last page of the chapter and Feng grabs his huge nunchuck things. It's just nunchucks. Nunchucks, but they're actually just huge pillars, and smacks Time right on the chin. A lot of chin strikes. These guys know how to fight. Go for the chin. But it's not knocking anyone down in these fights. And Feng says strength is about accepting grown old and bequeathing legacies. So he's kind of thinking, he's kind of got the same mindset as Time, kind of. Because Time's all about passing it on to the next generation and bequeathing legacies, passing it on to the next generation. But yeah, I'm loving this from Feng. Even if he grows old, I feel like him growing old makes him stronger somehow. So I think this is definitely going to be a win for Feng. He's one of those characters I just can't see losing. I'm gonna have to make a discussion video about battle hungry characters like Feng. I do have the battle hungry character series I'm trying to do. Feng's got to be the next one, I think. I had another one lined up, but Feng's gonna be my next one. My last one's about Kenpachi. That video's audio's terrible, so don't really watch that one. But look out for the Feng one. It's probably gonna be after the fight is concluded with Feng, because I'll have a little bit more material to work with. You know what I mean? But that is the end of my chapter review. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.